Hello, everyone, and welcome to my weekly outlook for oil. It's been quite an incredible week for oil, where we've seen it just sell off pretty much the entire week right after the inventory data came out on Wednesday. What we saw happening was the wedge, which is there on the chart, it broke to the downside, and all that's happened after that was just to sell off. Every sort of small rise has been an opportunity to go short with oil. Those of you who've kind of been listening to my videos for the last few weeks would have probably been able to take the trade. I had suggested that I was expecting it to break higher because of the entire bull flag, but nevertheless there was a trade to be taken either direction, if it had broken higher or lower. So we've seen it break lower. It's given a good solid 8% after it's broken lower, and that kind of a move is really good for a commodity like oil because it's heavily traded, and you don't really expect it to move that much in 3 days, especially based on zero news when there's no news involved. So a clear technical breakdown of oil, and it's still very bearish. I do expect it to move slightly lower. I had an expectation that it would come and stop near the $48 region, but what we've seen is it's pretty much close near that region. So we'll have to wait to see where it exactly stops. But when I switch to the weekly chart, what I see is there's just there's just more scope for it to move lower. Um, there was this entire trend line which I was expecting it to stop at. Let me just readjust that a little bit. Yeah, but then that seems like that trend line has broken too. So looks like oil could head lower. It could head towards this entire region near the $46 region, where it can find some respite. And what I imagine happening is for it to kind of trade in this particular channel. Breaking this pivot especially would just trigger another bearish move for oil, and it would be really bad for the markets too. It would be really bad for the S&P index too. So pretty interesting week coming up for oil. This was quite a spectacular week for whoever was able to go short. Um, in case you were bullish, you would probably have to take a smaller quantity going short. In case you were bearish, I'm sure you must have had one of your best trades in oil. You don't really expect a good solid 8 to 9% move in 3 days. So my expectations for the next week would be for oil to move lower. It would be for it to come near the $46 region, and I'm going to watch that area closely to see if there's a bounce. If it breaks that, we could very well expect it to move back towards 42, which is scary. It's scary. It could trigger a bear market in a lot of other markets as well. So finally, we have oil breaking its range. It's moved more this entire week, than it has in the last 3 months. So that's great news. We finally have some movement in oil. It's been quite a wait for this entire wedge to break, but it's been a great break. So that was it for my outlook for oil. Make sure you check out my outlook for gold, silver, and natural gas. And I will see you guys next week. Thank you.